What immediately tells you someone is a trashy parent? Kid is overweight. There's no fucking excuse, especially when really young. The parents buy all the food and can set them up for a healthy lifestyle. Instead, I see a fat couple or one fat parent with a kid waddling behind with a double chin and a gut like a beer drinker. It's fucking abuse and causes a lot of hardship on that child for years to come. Edit. Can you all stop with the exceptions? As of now 1/5 kids are obese in the country I live in. It's not from being chunky or built, it's from pathetic parents feeding garbage constantly to their kids. My dad had terrible parents, legendary. I used to write stories here on Reddit about things like when his dad tried to kill him, when his mom tried to convince him it was his fault. All sorts of heinous shit. He told me he could tell instantly if a parent was good, bad or ugly the second he saw them interact with their child. If their mood seemed to change to more focused, they were good, if nothing changed they were bad, or if they suddenly looked angry then they were parents like his. Taking the emotions of your child, first crushes, embarrassing moments that they talked with you about, are unsure about, worries they have, etc., and using it at a family gathering to get a laugh out of everybody. Your child will be so embarrassed because of you and will not talk to you in the future. I am 30 and my mother still does this to me sometimes. The difference today is, I will talk back in front of the whole family and suddenly she is embarrassed. Extending your family while you're unemployed and relying on government benefits, usually with other children already in the home. Take some personal responsibility. Condoms are cheaper than childcare. It's irresponsible and unfair to your child. Too many people see having children as something they're entitled to, as if there is not a helpless human life at the center of it. A lot of women in my area get pregnant for the monthly allowance that is supposed to help raise the child. So many of them have children with multiple men and are just essentially collecting paychecks for popping out babies. The allowance goes toward the parent and not the child. It's gross. It makes me think you should need a license to have children. Facepalm. Screaming at your kids in general, but especially a toddler or preschooler when they have become overwhelmed with the situation and getting emotional. Wait! You, an adult, are screaming in frustration at your very young human child that is having trouble expressing what they are feeling? And you wonder why your child screams when they are frustrated. Seeing children who are obviously not well cared for. I was behind a mom and her infant in line at a gas station and the smell of cigarette smoke, cat pee, and just unwashed body and dirty clothes emanating from them was eye-watering from 3 feet away. I could only imagine the state of their house. Poor baby, it couldn't have been a year old yet. Taking your 5-month-old baby to the movie theater. First, the decibels in there must be so high I feel like that can't be good for their hearing, and 2, just feeling entitled to ruin 50 other people's experience when your baby starts crying. I'm a parent of 2, and I couldn't imagine taking them to a movie theater before they're a few years old, leaving their kid at their grandparents always. I'm talking like 5-6 days a week for nearly the full day. I've seen this with people who are working but actually really out with friends or the person they're dating. My sister was a prime example of this and I see it with a friend now too. Children remember this kind of stuff. When you allow your children to say some nasty things to adults. I had to watch my mother's friends' kids tell their dad to drop dead so they can celebrate his death while the dad sat there taking the verbal abuse. I was both appalled and astonished that their Latina mother didn't do shit to correct their nasty behavior. They yell at punish their kids for doing normal kid stuff. Especially when it's in public and they look really proud of themselves afterward. Unless they're going to hurt themselves or break something, just let your kid pick up the toy or touch the fuzzy sweater or whatever. It helps them learn and doesn't hurt anyone. Lady at the supermarket's kid threw a wrapper on the floor. She told the other woman they were with to just leave it, someone else will pick it up. That would probably be why her child is throwing garbage on the floor in the first place. Other woman with her picked it up and threw it away. Punishing kids with haircuts, less food, less attention, or taking their door. Especially for things like asking too many questions or talking back just because they didn't understand something and wanted a real reason or explanation on why they had to do could not do something. Web-based entertainment powerhouses whose whole happy is their youngsters. Individuals who publicly rebuff their children on the web. Guardians who give out way too many insights regarding their youngsters, giving them absence of protection. Youngster double dealing at its best. I work in stores all over, and something I see consistently in the middle of the day is people come in with their kids, won't buy the kid a toy or chocolate or anything as they can afford it and spend their money of cigarettes, alcohol and lottery tickets. Saw a little girl of about 4 or 5 walking into a pizzeria with her parents that were arguing. Her hair was so matted it was starting to dread in the back. I had my teen daughter with me. We both just wanted to take the little girl home with us. Complains every day at work that they can't afford to take care of their kid properly. Blaming her own parents that they don't help out enough. Also complains about being hungover every day and brags about buying a PlayStation and a puppy. Social media influencers whose entire content is their children. People who publicly punish their kids online. Parents who give out way too many details about their children, giving them lack of privacy. Child exploitation at its finest. Social media influencers whose entire content is their children. People who publicly punish their kids online. Parents who give out way too many details about their children, giving them lack of privacy. Child exploitation at its finest. My family isn't rich, but I have some filthy rich relatives. They drink all day and think it's fine because it's all top shelf. Still looks just as trashy to me as someone throwing back light beer all day in the trailer park. The look the child makes when they get in trouble with their parents. Can't describe it, but when you see it you know and think, I bet they harm their kid. When I see that look in public I know where there is trash. Parents who don't take responsibility for their children's behavior. Your children are an extension of you. Guide them and teach them. Don't leave it all up to the government education system and social media, explaining everything their kids does with "oh, they're just kids." Kids running all over the place and being a nuisance to everyone. You try to tell the parents, "oh, they're just kids." Yes, yours. You deal with them when they say something to their child and the kid turns around without missing a beat and tells them, "fuck off, I don't want to." You do it. And the parent does not even react. The kid was like 10. WTF? Parents who slack off with safety of their child in obvious things like lets them travel without seatbelt and won't correct their dangerous behavior when the child bolts across the street without looking. Baby in the store, sitting in a basket in nothing but a dirty diaper. The basket is parked in the beer wine section. Parent has their back to said basket. Kid is not fully seated and not strapped in. The mother refuses to breastfeed the baby and refuses to buy a good mixture for the child. But saving on the child helped to buy the latest most expensive iPhone. Smiley face. The family has money problems. Parents who can apologize to a child. It's okay to have human emotions and moment to be triggered or struggling and lash out or be wrong, but for the love of all things good, apologize and change. When they yell at their kids in public for doing normal kid things like asking for candy in the grocery store. Makes me wonder how badly they treat them at home if they scream at them in public. When they yell at their kids and say things like "you are a piece of shit, pick up your clothes." We have lots of versions of this in Florida, because the New Yorkers can be very direct. People without kids offering their unsolicited opinion is worse. Shut the hell up, you don't know. The kid might have had. They might be dirt poor. I promise you 99 are doing their best. Saying we watch insert sporting event every week as a family, but the adults are drinking, smoking and screaming at the TV while the kids try to escape it by sitting on their phones. The parent is a reflection of their child usually. If the kid is this crazy little monster, the parent is either just not trying or they're actually a worse person. The Harambe situation. Apparently it's happened more than once. I've seen posts about like 5 diff kids falling into 5 diff gorilla enclosures. Watch yo kids plastering your kid all over your social media. A few pictures here and there are fine, but this person didn't end. Can't consent to being your karma whore. No leash on their kids while in public. By leash I mean the kid are running around rampant, being a disturbance at best, or an asshole at worst. Spanking, iPads as a substitute, and any form of neglect. And using their kids as a weapon when the parent in question is caught being an ass. When they introduce their kids to their new partners almost immediately. You barely know them and you're bringing your kid to meet them too? Babies with dirty feet. It has made me sick to see from as far back as my teen. Yo, damn babies' feet before you take them out. When they keep their dog in the duplex's shared uninsulated garage in the winter and it keeps shitting so the garage smells like dog shit. I'm not sure how to explain it, but feeling so superior and entitled that you teach your kids that they're somehow better than others. Changing your kid's diaper in a Walmart parking lot and throwing the diaper full of shit on the ground for someone else to deal with. Changing your kid's diaper in a Walmart parking lot and throwing the diaper full of shit on the ground for someone else to deal with. Do not seek for psychological help when your children obviously need it because you personally don't believe in all that stuff. Bad-mouthing their ex after a divorce to them and turning them against the other parent. Using kids as leverage in general. Zero interest in the kid. Doesn't care what they do or what happens to them as long as they don't inconvenience them. Parents who accuse the teacher of doing everything wrong instead of holding their child accountable for anything. Cussing out the officials at a little league game. telling your child to punch another player they tripped over, when their kids could literally set the world on fire and they'll blame anyone else to avoid responsibility. Passing out drunk on the neighbor's lawn while the kids are trying to trick-or-treat. Coworker did this. Not getting your behavior challenged kids the help they obviously need in order to survive in the world. Absolutely wrongful. But you need to know that you don't take kids into a store when they are hungry. They smoke in the car with their child. Public humiliation. Yell at them to keep quiet or shut up. Using your kid as therapy and then getting upset when they have issues regulating their emotions. Being verbally and emotionally abusive, especially with food, and extremely around the holidays. They just should not visit with children, otherwise you have to put those objects away. Expose their kids to drug and alcohol abuse. Also being obnoxious assholes in general. Mothers putting their underage daughters in OnlyFans. True story. Wish it wasn't. People who throw violent tantrums at fast food employees over chicken nuggets. Hearing them say "I'll give you something to cry about" to their crying kid. Kids in the shopping cart with dirty faces and babies wearing only a diaper. Parents who leave responsibility of a disabled child on the child's sibling, when they've got more baby selfies on their phone than actual baby supplies. Kids running around a store trashing the place and not a parent in sight. In line with this, mothers who see their son's girlfriends as competition. Not believing your child. Calling them a liar to anyone who listen. Mother who uses her daughter's food stamps as trade for weed cigarettes. Allowing your kids to disrespect guests, teachers, people in public, etc. when they raise kids just so the kids can give them money in the future. Telling their kids to STFU as soon as they require a bit of attention.